beginner, choosing the right string gauge can be confusing and expensive. I'm going to try and simplify things for you so that you can choose the right size strings for your guitar and for your style of playing. I've narrowed it down to 3 gauges: 9s, 10s and 11s. I appreciate people do use 8s and 12s, even 13s. I'm looking at you, Stevie Ray Vaughan. The fact is, most people choose one of these 3 gauges, and there's a reason Ernie Ball called their 10 set regular slinky. It's a good starting point. But first let's look at scale length. Scale length is simply the distance from the nut to the bridge. It's just a portion of the string that you hear resonating. What does this mean for you? Well, if your scale length is longer, you need more tension on your strings to bring it to the same pitch. So, which guitars have a longer scale length, you might ask? Well, the Fender Telecaster, the Fender Stratocaster, the Fender Jazzmaster. These guitars have a scale length of 25.5 inches, as opposed to Gibsons that have a scale length of 24.75. Now that might only be 3/4 of an inch, but it makes a big difference in terms of string tension. There are guitars with even shorter scale lengths, such as this, the Jaguar. This has a 24-inch scale length. So what does this mean for you? Well, a shorter scale length means a slinkier feel. It's easier to bend, and it's not as hard on your fingertips. A good way to look at it is, if you've got 11s on a Jaguar, that should feel similar to 10s on a Gibson, which should feel similar to 9s on a Strat. 9-gauge strings, or as Ernie Ball called them, super slinky. They're very light strings, they're easy to bend, and they have a nice, plinky, bright kind of tone. A lot of people prefer them for that reason. I would recommend them for beginners and people with small hands. They're easy to bend, they're much easier on your fingertips. 10-gauge strings, or regular slinky, as Ernie Ball called them. These are sort of the average Joe, best of both worlds, jack of all trades kind of string. A lot of people use them, and they have great tone, and they also have great playability. 11-gauge strings. Bigger strings, bigger tone. Good for achieving that piano-like sound that you hear on Stevie Ray Vaughan records. The difference in string tension at this point is going to be very noticeable, especially on a guitar like a Strat. If you're a beginner and your hands aren't so strong and you don't have calluses on the end of your fingers, it might become painful after a while to practice things like bends. So what's my opinion? If it was me just starting out, well, I think if you have a Strat, get yourself some 9s. They're easy to bend, they're not going to chew your fingers to pieces, and you can practice for hours. If you have a Gibson or an Epiphone, I would probably start with 10s. If I was starting out on a small scale length guitar like a Jaguar, I might even consider 11s. So I hope you guys find this useful. If you have any questions, just hit us up in the comments section down below. Using this Squier Jaguar, I recorded clips with 9s, 10s and 11s. And you have to decide which one's which.